We make rayon from wood, you know, but here's a piece of a cloth we make from coal and other things. It's called nylon.
But how can a soft thing like this come from a hard thing like a piece of coal?
Well, boys, it's a long story, but it does...
Take a look at this raw piece of wood and this dirty lump of coal. What if I told you that in the 1940s, this was the secret recipe for high-end fashion? Today we take synthetic clothing completely for granted, but back then, textile manufacturing didn't look like a tailor shop. It looked like heavy industrial mad science, and it's incredibly inspiring. To create beautiful, affordable clothes for the everyday person, engineers literally mimicked the biology of a spider spinning a web. They used massive vats of acid and intense pressure cookers to turn solid wood and rock into beautiful silky clothing. We didn't just write software back then, we engineered the physical world. Let's look at the lost alchemy it took to invent rayon and nylon.
Rayon begins as wood. The first step is to break up logs into pulp. This is done here at a pulp mill. In this
Let's
mill,
start with rayon.
wood is chopped up and cooked.
Rayon was actually the world's very first manufactured fiber, originally invented as an artificial silk, so that everyone could enjoy luxury fabrics, not just the rich. But it starts as, literally, trees.
Then they fill the tank with a chemical. After the pulp is soaked in this bath for a while, they squeeze out some of the chemical, and it's ready for the next step. They take it out and drop it down through a hole to the floor below. The pulp drops right down into a shredding machine. This machine breaks it up into small pieces. Over here is another shredder just like it. And this man is...
The mill chops the wood, cooks it into a pulp that looks like thick blotting paper, then they soak these sheets in a chemical bath. This is where it gets crazy. They drop this soaked wood through the floor into massive, heavy-duty shredding machines that tear it into fluffy crumbs. They age it and churn it with carbon disulfide until that solid wood completely dissolves into a thick, gooey syrup.
Quickly becomes a thick liquid, like this. Now we're ready to make it into a fiber. I'll show you again how it works. This is an acid bath.
Here's the genius part. Just like a spider forces liquid out of its body to make a web, the engineers built a metal spinneret. They forced this wood syrup through tiny holes directly into a bath of acid. The acid instantly reacts with the liquid, hardening it back into a solid, continuous rayon fiber. You're looking literally at liquid wood becoming thread.
Mr. Norton, we make cloth from coal too, don't we? Is that the same thing?
Cloth from coal? Well, not quite. Here's a piece of a cloth we make from coal and other things. It's called nylon.
But how can a soft thing like this come from a hard thing like a piece of coal?
But if you think that's impressive, wait until you see nylon. Nylon doesn't come from trees, it comes from coal. This was a miracle material invented by Wallace Carruthers at DuPont in the 1930s, and it was so revolutionary that during World War II, this exact coal fabric was used to make the heavy-duty parachutes that saved Allied pilots. They took raw coal from the mines and break it down in a coke oven to get coal tar. They extract complex chemicals, mix them with water to make nylon salt, and then literally cook it under intense heat and pressure. When it comes out the bottom of the cooker, it's a solid, hard white strip of plastic. They chip that hard plastic into flakes, melt it down, and pump the molten nylon through, you guessed it, spider-like spinnerets. The hot filaments hit the warm air, hardening instantly, and are drawn down to be twisted into a single incredibly strong strand of yarn. They stretch the yarn to give it that famous elasticity, and then send it off to the hosiery mills. Here, these complex, mesmerizing knitting machines, with rows of rapidly moving needles, take that raw, coal-derived fiber and weave it into perfect everyday clothing.
Things are made on the knitting machines in a hosiery mill. This machine knits a number of stockings at a time. The machine has rows of needles. See how the nylon threads move in and out and back and forth among the needles. The machine knits a stocking in a broad, flat strip. Now they're ready to be worn. Stockings of a fine, silky cloth, made by the science of chemistry from a lump of coal.
This is what I love about looking back at the past. When humans are faced with a problem, our ingenuity is boundless. We don't have cheap plastics, so we looked at a spider, we looked at a forest, and we engineered a solution. If you love celebrating this kind of real-world, optimistic engineering, make sure you subscribe. And let me know in the comments, would you wear a shirt made entirely out of wood? I'll see you in the next one.